Okay, we're going to give a view of the audience here. Might be a little, some headshots. There's another audience member right here that's hiding underneath the camera. Okay. All right, and looks like you can begin.
Thank you, Chris. So if I can have a show of hands, how many here are in the U.S. Navy? One person. How many here were a civilian professor in the U.S. Navy for 7 years? Now, how many here, now you were with the DOD, Mom, don't lie. Okay, how many here have packed their bags and are on their way to a European cruise next week? Make sure I get my luggage back. Okay. Now, there's a little bit of a trend here, and I'm just going to test it out. How many here love to travel? That's everybody in the room. And you're in luck because today I'm going to take you through a virtual tour of one of my favorite cities, Barcelona. And we'll take you to some of the most popular places that the city has to offer. The statue of Christopher Columbus, the Sagrada Familia, and La Rambla. So let's get started. Now, when you arrive at the port of Barcelona, the first thing that you're going to see is the monument to Christopher Columbus. On top of a 131-foot Corinthian column, there is a 25-foot bronze statue of Christopher Columbus. On his left hand, he's holding a scroll, and his right hand is pointing towards the ocean. Now, when it was unveiled in 1888, in time for the World Expo in Barcelona that year. Journalist Terry Fry wrote that the reason why it was erected in Barcelona was because Barcelona was the city that Christopher Columbus came to report to the King and Queen of Spain about this strange, new, wonderful land that he had just visited, the Americas. Now, moving past the monument and eastward is downtown Barcelona, and the second stop on our trip, and that is the Sagrada Familia. Now, the Sagrada Familia is a minor basilica and is the most iconic building in all of Barcelona. The name of its architect, Antoni Gaudí, is synonymous with the name of Barcelona. Now, Gaudí's unique designs are spread all over the city, but Sagrada Familia is considered his masterpiece. Now, construction began in 1882 and is still a work in progress, and the reason for that is all of the funding for Sagrada Familia is done through private donations, and the more private donations trickle in, the more that the building gets built, and it's taking a lot of time. Now, despite the fact that the Sagrada Familia still needs to be completed, it is a one-of-a-kind building. It is so much of a one-of-a-kind building that Rainer Zerbst, art critic, said, "It is impossible to find a church building like it in the entire history of art." Now, north of the Christopher Columbus statue and outside of downtown Barcelona, you'll find the third stop on our tour, and that is La Rambla. Now, La Rambla is a street where thousands of locals and tourists go each and every day and flock to it all throughout the day. Now, according to travel site A View on Cities, this originally was this pedestrian street originally was a stream bed, but in the 1400s, it gradually transformed into a street. Today, if you go to La Rambla, its pavement is made to look like ripples of water to harken back to the time when water flowed through it. Now, all along the Sagrada Familia, all along La Rambla and all along its 1 mile length, you'll see kiosks that are selling souvenirs. You'll see street performers, cafes, and restaurants. Now, when I ended my walk along Sagrada Familia, I took a break and had a picture of sangria. And it was refreshing. Now, eventually I knew it was time to get home, and so but instead of going down the Rambla and making this a 30-minute walk back to the ship, I decided to take a detour, and I got lost. Which wasn't a bad thing, because I ended up in the neighborhood sections where most tourists never get to go to. And I got the chance to see Barcelonans in their native habitat doing what most of us like to do, sitting in front of the television at night, watching television. Now I knew that where the ocean was generally, so I headed towards that direction, and I got back to the ship, safe and sound, in about 1 or 2 hours. But it was okay, because I look back on that day, and I told myself what a privilege it was to have gotten the chance to visit a jewel of a city called Barcelona. And what a privilege it was to see all of its famous places. And there was one last thing. What a privilege it was to see Barcelonans in doing what they were doing that evening, and to get a glimpse of their private life, where I saw them watching television, and I was thinking maybe one of those Barcelonans were watching television and saw a travel channel that night and said to himself, I too have that adventurous spirit, and I want to go to a strange, new, and wonderful place, just like Barcelona. Thank you.